Welcome to Spring LIB.
So let's review the numbers for Canada and Venezuela from the table that describes how many barrels of oil and tons of lumber the workers can produce. And we're to use the number to answer the rest of the question. So the first question is to draw a production possibility frontier for each country. So we're to draw a production possibility frontier for each country and assume there are 100 workers in each country. Canadians and Venezuelans desire both oil and lumber. Canadians want at least 2,000 tons of lumber, right? And mark a point on the production possibility frontier where they can get at least 3,000 tons. So we're going to be drawing that. So the production for the possibility frontier basically, the curve basically shows all the possible combinations of production of two goods with the given common inputs. So we're going to be drawing that first. So for country C, which is Canada, it will be right here, and for country V, which is Venezuela, that'll be right here. So this side is the barrel of oil, and this side is the tons of lumber. So, and then the point is, remember that we have to at least 2,000, but you want a point where they have at least 3,000. So this will be right here, and then the 2,000 will be right like this. So this is what the production possibility frontier for Canada should look like, and for Venezuela should be 6,000 and then 3,000, and then this point basically meets that point. So this is the difference, and this point on the graph for Canada basically shows the point where the people of country C could get 3,000 tons of lumber. So now moving on to the next question. Assume that the Canadians specialize completely because they figured out that they have a comparative advantage in lumber. So they are willing to give up 1,000 tons of lumber. How much oil would they ask for in return for this lumber to be as well off as they were with no trade? And how much should they ask for if they want to gain from trading with Venezuela? So now, if country C, Canada, produces only lumber, and they need 3,000 of their own production, then they can trade 1,000 tons of lumber with Venezuela. So if country C produces only lumber and they need 3,000 of their own production, then they can trade 1,000 tons of lumber with country C. rather country V, Venezuela. So the opportunity cost of producing 1,000 tons of lumber was 500 barrels of oil, right? So an opportunity cost is cost that is forgone to get an alternative. So your opportunity cost of producing 1,000 tons of lumber is 500 barrels of oil. So if they should ask for at least 500 barrels of oil in exchange from country Venezuela, so that they are in the same position as before. So basically, they should ask for at least 500 barrels in exchange from country V, so that they can be in the same position as before. So they should ask for at least 500 barrels in exchange from countries V, so that they are in the same position as before. So one of the possible prices that country C could ask from country V, and they could also gain from trade, is 1,000 barrels of oil. So country C could ask country V for 1,000 barrels of oil and gain from trade. So that's the answer. Now the last question is if the Canadian asks you identified in B, is the Canadian act you identified in B also beneficial for Venezuelans? And use the production possibility frontier graph for Venezuela to show that Venezuelans can gain from the trade. So now for country V, the production possibility frontier curve would be so the barrels of oil will be right here, and the tons of lumber will be right here. So this point is 3,000, this point is 6,000, 5,000, and 1,000. So at 5,000 barrels of oil, there's 1,000 tons of lumber, and the barrels of oil at 6,000 goes all the way to 3,000 tons of lumber. So now country V was producing 6,000 barrels of oil, and now they have to trade 1,000 barrels of oil for 1,000 tons of lumber rather. So the opportunity cost of producing I forgot to mention that this is for country V. The graph is for country V. So the opportunity cost of producing 1,000 tons of lumber in V is 2,000 barrels of oil. So they will be at benefit because now they have 5,000 barrels of oil and 1,000 barrels of lumber, which we can see in the graph, beyond the original production possibility frontier, which is the 6,000 and 3,000. So country V is also at benefit. So We can say it in summary. The opportunity cost of producing 1,000 tons of lumber in V is 2,000 barrels of oil. So they will be at benefits having 5,000 barrels of oil and 1,000 tons of lumber. So that's the answer.